Look closely at this surface, a deep, glowing blue at the center, falling away to absolute black at the edges. It mimics a total solar eclipse, caught and frozen on a wrist. Pull back, and the geometry of the case reveals something equally strange. It is not round, it is not rectangular. Welcome to Crown and Patina. Today, we are examining the 1980s Patek Philippe Golden Ellipse Jumbo, reference 3738. To understand why this watch remains an icon, we have to deconstruct the ancient mathematics, the hidden mechanics, and the chemical mastery that brought it to life. Patek Philippe is heavily defined today by watches like the Nautilus. Harsh horizontal lines, bold steel bezels, and aggressive profiles command the modern secondary market. Yet entirely separate from that noise, Patek spent 40 years quietly producing a delicate, unassuming dress watch. Why do serious connoisseurs hunt for the reference 3738? And why does almost everyone who sees it gets its name wrong? It commands respect not by adding features, but by stripping them away until only the relationship between the height and width of the case remains. This line demonstrates the mathematical concept known as the golden ratio. Two lengths share this proportion when their relationship equals 1.618. Mapped onto a plane, this generates a self-similar spiral. Patek Philippe used this principle to engineer a case between a circle and a rectangle. The late 1960s and 1970s watch industry heavily favored experimental and jagged designs. Introducing a mathematically serene, perfectly smooth oval was a sharp deviation from the era's aesthetic trends. By adhering to the golden section, Patek avoided trend-driven geometry. The result was a shape that remained in the catalog for decades, appearing balanced regardless of changing tastes. By the late 1970s, the golden ellipse evolved into the watch collector's hunt today, the Jumbo reference 3738. Measuring roughly 31 by 35.5 millimeters, is small by modern standards, but against the delicate earlier models, it was a more substantial wear-everyday version. Standard automatic movements utilize a rotor mounted on top of the gear train. This layer adds height, a problem for an ultra-thin watch. Patek's Caliber 240 solution was to shrink that weight and sink it flush into the movement's architecture, removing the top layer entirely. To compensate for the lost mass, this tiny rotor is forged from ultra-dense 22-karat gold. That density allows it to generate enough kinetic force from normal wrist motion to wind the mainspring. This sunken micro-rotor allowed the 3738 to offer modern automatic convenience while maintaining its ultra-thin profile. We need to correct a persistent misconception. Because the deep blue dial resembles a celestial event, it is often called the eclipse. The true name is the Golden Ellipse, named for its geometry. The dial itself was manufactured by the legendary Stern family workshop in Geneva. This is the exact same workshop that produced the textured industrial Tapisserie dials for the era's luxury sports watches. For the Ellipse, Stern deployed a different technique. The blue gradient is not paint. It is a specialized galvanic reaction, chemically bonded to a solid metal baseplate. At the bottom of vintage examples, two tiny Greek sigma markings flank the text. These are historical marks confirming the applied hour markers and hands are fashioned from solid gold. The gradient effect is a physical property, light interacting with chemically altered gold and radiating from the center brushing. Reviewing the technical specifications clarifies the appeal of the reference 3738. An 18-karat gold case proportioned to the golden ratio, an ultra-thin Caliber 240 Micro-Rotor, a solid metal galvanic dial by Stern. If you are acquiring one, originality is paramount. Because the dial's color is the result of a chemical reaction, a refinished or repainted dial cannot replicate the original depth and destroys the value. Collecting this piece properly requires prioritizing an untouched surface over a superficial restoration. The Golden Ellipse remains an icon for the introvert. It demands a deep understanding of horological history to appreciate, offering no recognizable silhouette to flaunt from across a room. The golden ratio provides the frame, the micro-rotor preserves the thinness, and the galvanic dial captures the light. When these three specific choices align, The watch stops feeling like a collection of parts and starts feeling like a single cohesive thought. Is the Golden Ellipse the most underrated watch in Patek Philippe's archive? And honestly, did you fall for the Eclipse naming trap before today? Tell me in the comments. The deepest design often speaks with the quietest voice. Subscribe to Crown and Patina for more watch history, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.